Ilken and Baps. Good evening and welcome back to another episode of A Book and a Bev. We are your hosts, Georgia, Bryony, Ellie. Claire is not with us still. She is studying. But
we miss her.
She is here mentally. But honestly, it's going to be rough. It's going to be rough here today. It's going to be rough here for the next few weeks, actually. So we'd actually just like to, before we get started, take a moment's silence for all of our holes.
All of the crevices.
Because this book royally fucked us inside, outside, upside down, mentally, physically, emotionally.
It dingle-doodled in all of our holes.
Dingle-doodled? If you haven't already guessed, this week we are covering Sarah J Maas's Empire of Storms, and you are not ready for the fuckery.
Not the fuckery. I love that word.
Not the fuckery. So what are we all drinking tonight?
Well, I'm drinking Johnny Walker and cola in honour of Lorcan's dark death magic.
Oh, fuck that man up, honestly.
Yes, Lorcan. I'd also do deplorable things to that man, with that man, while that man watched.
He could wrap that shirt that he cut up around my neck and choke me.
He could use it as ties and tie me up like a rotisserie chicken.
Well, I am drinking my favourite wine ever in honour of my favourite series. Because I just love it so much. Even though there's so much trauma, I feel like I just love other people's trauma.
I know.
I like pain.
I like pain.
Honestly. Well, look, I was supposed to be drinking a Sex on the Beach for this book because, well,
reasons.
Self-explanatory. But my mental health is awesome. Great. So I'm not drinking tonight. This is literally just Pepsi. So mental health. When you have bad mental health, don't drink alcohol and make yourself worse.
Yeah. Exactly. Look after
yourselves.
I'm proud of
you.
I am too. I have not learnt your lesson yet.
She's grown beyond us.
She has.
How's everyone feeling after all that drama?
Look, this book was giving me stress, violence, beach sex. Just like what a vibe. Very strong vibes. This book fucked me up like Rowan and Aelin fucked up the entire ecosystem of Skulls Bay, and I adored it. They just fucked up those trees. They were like, you're gone, killing everything.
Oh my God.
Gordon Ramsay, you're gone. You're gone. What are you? An idiot sandwich.
They just do that to the turtles. I read a comment on a Goodreads review of this book, and it was someone saying something along the lines of someone really needed to check on the turtle death count after this episode,
just like,
because because you know how they lay their eggs
in the sand.
Yeah, in the sand. They would have all been boiled.
Oh my God,
boiled
really?
Turtle eggs.
Yeetus fetus of the turtles.
Of the turtles. Yeah, fuck it up. Shit.
Well, yeah, look, I love that in this book we get some more insight into some of my favourite characters. Cough, cough. Fenris.
Fenris, you dirty dog.
Oh, you dirty, dirty dog, literally. And shit takes off. And, we're rocketing towards annihilation, and I love it. I've never been so happy for pain. And, I mean, my cause of death is Rowan Whitethorn saying, "Where is my wife?"
Oh, my God, that did things to me.
Oh, my God. That whole... I'm pretty sure I put that entire page in the notes.
Absolutely.
You all need to bear with me for this episode, as I only just finished this last night, and my soul is nowhere near recovered. But I'd like to start off by saying I knew they were fucking mates. Did I not tell you? Huzzah! Vindication.
I am so proud that we made it to this moment. We worked so hard.
Honestly, I have been literally throwing Ellie off at every turn, guys. Me and Bryony are sitting there, she's like, they have to be mates, and we're like, oh, I don't know.
At this stage, I've just been being quiet because I was like, George has been doing all the hard work.
Oh my God. You got into my head. You made me despise Lyria because I was like, well, if she just didn't fucking exist. But here we are. Sweet, sweet vindication. Anyway, I've got proven right. I'm fairly sure this might just be a standard plot line in SJM's books that the two main characters are mated, but that's fine. Here we are. This book just had everything. It had sex, death, rock and roll, and beautiful broody females. Aelin was nothing but her glorious conniving self, and I don't think that I've ever been so happy for a fictitious character to have a good old fucking...
I mean, she worked hard. She put in the hours.
She deserved
did,
it.
and as we all did, really.
Yeah.
Book
It's a
6.
collective effort.
Here we are. I kind of don't want to read Tower of Dawn because after the end of this book, I just want to jump into that story, the whole rescuing mission. But alas, I will endure Kale for the sake of the plot.
I know, like, we had the discussion about what order you read it in, and I still stand by that. I think because there's things in Tower of Dawn that happen where they allude to what happened here.
I read it in some weird fucked up order because I read Tower of Dawn first, which in a way, my thought process, I get where I was trying to come from, but it just didn't work. And like, I don't know how I just was so like, the first time I read it, because now I'm like, it just makes so much more sense to read Tower of Dawn like after. So, God, I don't know, guys. Honestly, I love this series so much. It actually hurts my heart and soul. And the second time I'm reading it through, it's just cementing in my brain that this is my favorite series by SJM at the moment.
Ooh.
It chops and changes, you know, because like the other series are still ongoing. So who knows? But Throne of Glass, it's just so good. And this book, I will not ever get over it.
Absolutely
Ever.
not.
Like this, it just gives me everything. It gives me like sitting on the edge of your seat, the sexual tension, the trauma, the absolute fucking misery that SJM smashes you with at every single turn.
Oh.
Not to mention the fucking, the absolute glorious fucking.
Oh.
Thank you, JC. Thank you. I just fucking love this book. And the ending. The fucking ending. I hate everyone and I will never recover.
Absolutely.
Goodbye.
On that note, we are mixing it up because if you listen to our last episode, okay, Queen of Shadows Part 2, you can notice that we're getting a little bit long because we're talking a bit of shit.
And we're also getting very tired. Like, I did the last part of the edit and we're all like, I'm literally like this.
We want to give you guys that spark and that stuff you love. So for the foreseeable future, definitely Empire of Storms and Kingdom of Ash. We'll be splitting it into 3 parts.
Trey.
Unsure if Tower of Dawn will need Trey parts, but we'll find out.
I love Tower of Dawn also.
It's so
I'm just
good.
putting that out there in the universe.
I love Tower of Dawn. People who said that you skip it, again, I've said it before, fuck you.
Fuck you and your cow.
I will shit on your lawn.
And I will shit on your cow.
The cow's just like,
You were just squatting on the cow.
Ellie's so concerned right now.
I put myself on mute for 30 fucking seconds so I can shove some chips down my throat. And here, now we're just suddenly standing on top of cows and shitting.
On them.
No regrets.
Anyway.
Yeah. So this is part 1 of 3. Sick. Let's jump on in. We start Empire of Storms off with a very horrifying, just little lone chapter on its own. That's just absolutely horrifying and an alarming way to start the book. It's a flashback to Elena and Gavin's pre-war meltdown. They are basically on the battlefield, camped out, watching Erwin's forces amass, and they're going to lose. Everyone knows it, but they decide they have this chance to push the war back. One shot, one opportunity to seize everything they've ever wanted except push it onto the next generation. And they go, fuck the kids.
Fuck the children,
kids.
fuck the babies.
In the words of Robbie Williams, the kids are not all right.
The kids are not all right. Love a boo, Robbie. So they go, fuck them kids, and they push the war off, and that's where we pick on up.
Now we're with the lead. She's not great, you know, because remember Manon just sort of like dropped her in the forest, and she's like, hello, young disabled girl, go thrive in the forest.
Right.
Go thrive.
I'm not paying for your Uber the rest of the way. This is as far as we go.
Off you go prosper. And, well, she is not, in fact, prospering. No. It's been a few weeks by now, and she sees 2 witches and their wivens appear. And I do acknowledge I have interchangeably used wivens and wervens throughout this series, and you'll just have to forgive me, okay?
Look, at this stage, if you guys have stuck with us this far with the way we fuck up every single name, it's interchangeable, and we just expect you all to know.
Yeah, just keep up. For some people, like, we have very strong opinions on how you pronounce Rhysand's name.
Oh, yeah, we threw down over that.
We did. That was a hill we were willing to die on. But if anyone comes at me about my pronunciation of Wyvern or Werven, I'll be like...
Werven.
And like Lysandra, that's different every time I say it.
Lysandra, Lysandra.
You never know what you're going to get. But I apologise.
I could just start saying chow instead of kale.
Ciao. Right, so we're back with the Wyverns, and Elide is hiding. And she manages surprisingly to hide very well from these Wyverns who are like unnaturally good at all things. But, you know,
I bet they're yellow legs.
No doubt, no doubt. They've just got a bit of a screw loose or something.
They've got that jaundice. It's fucking with their brain as well.
I thought you were going to say they've got that Georgia. And I was like,
they've got an essence of Georgia about them. That explains it.
True.
Anyway, so she has hidden effectively from them, which is great. But when they leave, she can sense that someone else is watching her. And no, it is not Jan from Gossip Girl in the series You.
Hello.
Not
you.
It's Lorcan. He's just in the bushes. He emerges with a baseball cap. Hello.
Yeah.
That would be amazing. But in fact, no. Lorcan is just sort of hiding, watching her, and she's sensing that he's watching her. Not great. He thinks that she is possessed by a demon because she kind of smells a bit funky.
That's going to be my excuse from now on. Sorry. Possessed.
Just possession.
It's a new candle. Just possession.
Anyway, no, she's just possessed by a demon. A BMW is possessing her soul.
It's up her ass. It's a real sign.
That leather interior is holding up very well. No. It's obviously, everyone, just that fucking weird stone, which we don't yet know what it is, but we all know what it is, that Caltaine had lodged in her.
Okay, a word key. And Elide's like, oh, it's just some funky stone.
Yeah, she's like, oh, does Caltaine just collect rocks? Like, is this just her pet rock that she's just been...
Mercury's in retrograde, use this to soak up the vibes.
So Aelin is basically trying to conjure, I was going to say conquer water. She was going to fuck that water up.
She was. I am the captain now.
I am the captain now. Fuck you. Aelin is trying to conjure water in a river, and Rowan appears, and them being super smitten is just like really beautiful, and it kills me. They still haven't fucked yet, but that's okay. Everything's fine. They are preparing for a meeting with the nobles, though, aka Terracin. So they're very stressed. We get this quote. Ember sparked in her blood, and the moss beneath them hissed as rain turned to steam. Aelin broke the kiss, breathing ragged, satisfied to find Rowan's own chest rising and falling in an uneven rhythm. So new. This thing between them was still so new, so raw, utterly consuming. The desire was only the start of it. So it's getting super steamy, super hot. And then we get like the brow to brow moment, and he calls her Fireheart again.
Oh.
And that's when I deceased.
Yeah, I'm already dead.
Dead. Done. And it's literally the second chapter, so that's good. I died even more when Aelin admits basically that she's in love with him and has been for some time, so that's also really awesome. And if you want a quote to go with that, here you go. Hold on to your bonnets.
Pull out that scripture. This is what we're reading at Ellie's wedding.
Pull out the scripture.
Oh my God.
I can't bonnet. I have no bonnet.
So we are in our bonnets. And we are quoting. Her throat ached with the effort to keep the words in. She'd been in love with him for a while now, longer than she wanted to admit. She tried not to think about it, whether he felt the same. Those things, those wishes, were at the bottom of a very, very long and bloody priority list.
I just burped myself.
It's a long labour, but we made it. Oh, that's a beautiful quote, though. Like, I love it.
We just, like, skipped over that. trauma and heartbreak.
We just need to eat it.
Aelin is chilling with like the little folk. They're just like chilling on the other side, throwing gang signs. Like, because remember, she's doing stuff with their hands and they're copying her. And basically, one of them leaves her a little tiny present, like a little knick-knack, made out of like leaves and shit. And it's a tiny wyvern. And she's like, okay, I'm just gonna like leave that there because that seems super interesting and specific, and I don't have time for that energy. So she leaves that. We then get this.
God. I wasn't on mute that whole time. I was eating chips and I wasn't on mute.
Honestly, Ellie, I just tune out at this point.
So,
I'm just going to rabbit casually.
Yeah, absolutely. So Aelin says that she would be willing to bleed, die, and sacrifice herself to protect her people. Well, isn't that some terrible, terrible foreshadowing? I'm too scared to go into that, so we'll just yeet past that.
We're back with the Scooby Gang, and we're waiting for the noble men to meet them in the woods. And that's a sentence you don't really want. Noble men meeting you in the woods. No, thank you.
It's like
Rather
something
not.
you're told specifically not to do. Do not meet men in the woods.
For listeners of my favourite podcast, My Favourite Murder, stay out of the forest. Stay the fuck
Sorry.
out of the forest.
I'm sorry.
It's not your favourite fucking podcast.
Oh my
You
God. I
think
feel-
this is a hobby?
Filing a complaint with HR.
Hold on, let me get HR. I know. Hello, we heard you were a little bitch and said this was your
I just like death, okay?
That's fine. We'll give you more death then. If that's what you want, we have
Is
There's
that a threat?
we have death for you.
We have plenty of death.
Remember
You
these
just
words.
wait.
Remember these words.
Just know that you asked for this, and you've still
You
got
did.
2 books left of the series, Ellie,
Specifically.
for death.
I feel like I didn't use my words for that, but
Too
that's
late.
fine.
It's
That's-
done.
We are the captains now.
Hang on. You said I've still got 2 books left and you are specifically for death.
Yeah.
Who dies?
You will just have to wait and see.
I really hope it's Kale. I really hope it's Kale. Better
Anyways,
not be
continue.
fucking Rowan. Yeah, anyway, my favourite podcast, My Favourite Murder.
It's not her favourite podcast, just so everyone is aware. It's not.
Insert footnote, it was not her favourite podcast.
A Book and a Bev, hashtag A Book and a Bev, at A Book and a Bev podcast on Instagram and TikTok.
I
Fuck
don't
you,
know what I'm
Ellie.
doing with my life.
And fuck My Favourite Murder.
It's actually a really good
I actually also have listened to that podcast before and it was
Okay,
good.
thank you.
It's not the best though.
All right, that's fine. I'll acknowledge that. I'm sorry.
We accept your apology.
Okay, so Adian is stressed, so am I, about this meeting. And Lysandra is nearly always in animal form now. She's just like, I don't like you fucking humans. I'm just going to be whatever I fucking want. So she's like an antelope one day. And the next day she's a ghost leopard. And then the next day she's, I don't know, give me another animal.
A chicken.
There's just this little chicken running around after them. And Aelin and Adian are looking like twins. They're twinning. They're almost in coordinated outfits. It's adorable. And then Rowan appears and he has a messenger with him, which he's holding by the throat with a knife, which wouldn't be opposed to, if I'm perfectly honest.
Horny.
A little bit of knife play with Rowan.
Fuck it up.
When in Rome. Apparently, Ren doesn't want his grandfather out in the weather because it's raining and he's like, he's
Old
cold.
people.
And Darrow, who was apparently Aelin's uncle's lover, is impatient and is nervous to be out of the walls of Oryx. And it's like, it's because you don't really venture too far from safety, is it, Darrow?
You little bitch.
You little fucking bitch,
Mm.
Darrow. You want to fucking fight, Darrow? Because I'll fucking fight you.
Well, they decide that they're going to go meet them just down at the pub.
Yeah, pub feed seems like a good time. So, next chapter, and we are in Manon's point of view. And grandmummy, it's me, Anastasia, aka the matron, has come to Morath. She's come
Aw.
down, she's gone to the Morath for a little vacay, and it's a family reunion. It's lovely.
For God's sake.
The matron is like, wow, it is like super convenient that you didn't want the Duke to make any more of those like demon baby creatures. And what do you know? The whole coven, poof, gone.
Dead.
And Manon can feel like the 13 are drawing like a line in the sand. and they hate Grandmummy, it's me, Anastasia. The matron, Manon, her second and third, all go to the council rooms to see the Duke. Vernon is there, so that seems super cool. And so is this gorgeous blonde-haired man with golden eyes like Manon, aka the eyes of the Valg King. And turns out Harrington has been yeeted like an old condom, and Erewhon is the new dick in charge.
The new dick in charge.
Old condoms. Ugh. Oh.
Like, you just imagine. So Harrington has fucked the world, right?
Yes.
And then he's been used. The dick has gone flaccid, and he is now the ejaculated in condom, and he's been thrown in the bin. And Erewhon's there, and he's fully erect. And he's like, I'm ready. And he's put a new one on. And he's got the 8-pronged one as well.
But you know what he hasn't done? He hasn't put enough lube on there, because now we know.
He's going in raw.
Oh my god! What the fuck? He's in the bin. He's fully, like, someone has just cummed in him. He's in the bin now.
Yeah, discarded condom.
He's fucked. And now this new
That
guy.
sack, absolutely gone.
This new guy's come in. He's shoved on a brand new condom, but no lube. The condom clearly isn't pre-lubed either. And it's got 8 prongs. So he's not, but his dick is like exploding. It's like when you like have like shaving cream in like a glove and you push it and then it fills up all of the fingers of the glove, and that's what his dick is doing. It's like the shaving cream.
But you know why? Because he went to the shops and he was like, "Hi, I need an extra large size."
extra large.
So he's the condom.
Has 8 prongs.
But there's, even though it's extra large, there's still just like a little bit of headroom up the top. So it's almost waving at him like a little hat. Just up the top there.
Like a fascinator.
It's like he's a turkey. How did we get here?
Really don't know. I don't really know how we got to him being in the bin either, but I'll agree with it. I'll stand by it.
Okay, so what's his name now? Is he Magnum? We're getting him a condom name now. So his name is like Era Wang. Because he's got a wang. Like Vera Wang, except without wedding dresses, but condoms.
Yes, exactly. That's brilliant.
Amazing. So Era Wang explains that the coven in the Farian Gap will be in Rifthold in the next 3 days. But he says that he's sending Manon there too. He's told Manon to go ransack the city, destroy the glass wall built by Aelin's magic, etc., all this witchy-poo nonsense. And Manon accepts this, but ends up telling him not to be a conqueror, but rather a liberator, because that's what's going to stop his enemies from rallying against him. And he's like, you know what? I kind of agree with you. You may be a woman. But I agree.
You might be a woman within a sea of other female witches, but this is why you're wing leader, because you've got brains behind those tits.
Oh, exactly right.
Dear fucking God, you've clearly been around the patriarchy one too many times, eh?
So she then asks about Dorian slyly and says she doesn't really care what happens to him, but we all know that she does. This silly little sausage, she can't fool us, but on. She goes up to chat to the 13 about Erewhon, and they get prepped for battle, and they take flight, and they're just one big unit, and we read that Manon has hot girl armor on.
It's got like demon conqueror armor.
I fucking love that for her.
So hot. Shame she's only going to be able to wear it once.
So, next chapter, the Scooby Gang are going to meet with the nobles. They arrive, and Lysandra is in human form. And we're like, wow, this is really unexpected, because you know what she's like. She's been taking on all the chicken forms, the duck forms.
I also like when she's in human form, she's like, I made my tits smaller because my back was just aching.
Can't relate to that. Can't relate to that one bit. The minute our girl gets there, it's basically constant belittling. Like, constant attitude from Darrow, the stupid fucking sparrow. Everyone else isn't too bad, but he's basically like, you need all of our votes before you can become a queen, and you are not getting mine. Darrow basically starts insulting Lysandra, Aelin, and Rowan, and Aelin snaps. She throws a dagger directly for his hand, and it lands perfectly in the middle of his, like, splayed fingers. I'm so fucking gay. She gets right up in his fucking grill, and she's like, fuck you. And Lysandra turns into Ghost Leopard, and everyone's like, oh, fucking shit. She's just like, don't you fucking dare talk about my court my fucking people, you fucking sparrow. And so he's not even fazed by this. He's like, whatever.
No.
He keeps going. He's like, while you were living in luxury, like, motherfucker, she was a fucking slave. And before that, she was a fucking child. While she was that, she was a fucking child,
You've been
actually.
forced to kill people at the age of 8.
You're a fucking cunt, Darrow. That's what you are. But Aelin is trying to be, like, the good person that she is. Like, she's trying to be, like, level-headed. She's like, don't fucking lose it. She's basically like, I'll tell my people of my scars and my trauma, and I'll hold myself, like, I'll hold my head high.
Damn straight, sis.
Damn fucking straight. We get this from Darrow, which sends me over the motherfucking edge. I do not recognize your right to rule. I do not recognize you as the rightful queen of Terrasen. Neither do the Lords Sloane, Ironwood, or Gunner, who make up the remaining surviving majority of what was once your uncle's court. Even if the Olsbrook family sides with you, that is still 1 vote against 4. Should you return to Orinth and seize your throne without our invitation, it will be considered an act of war and treason. As of this moment, until it is otherwise decided, you shall remain a princess by blood, but not queen.
What a fucking fuckwit.
The level of anger. Oh.
Like, you are facing a fucking demon lord whose weakness is fire, and your long-lost queen happens to be the fire bringer, and you're like, actually, I'll let you know if we need you. As we've established, Darrow has no fucking idea, no fucking clue. He's like, maybe if you find me some allies, I might consider you useful. Also makes some, like, inferences about, obviously, Rowan warming her bed, and that maybe if she was able to find a marriage bond, that could be helpful. And it's like, no.
Suck my asshole. How does that sound?
Yeah. And at this point, Aelin's like, well, fuck you. She snuffs out all of the candles in the room, plunging the room into darkness. And she says, I suggest, Lord Darrow, that you become accustomed to this, for if we lose this war, darkness will reign forever.
Oh.
Darrow lights a match, and he's like, men can make their own light, heir of Brannon. And she just snuffs it out again, and she's like, you're just being fucking stupid now.
Got no idea. No fucking clue.
And, like, yes, for these 10 years or however fucking long it's been, because I forget, Terrasen has been under Aelin oppression, just trying to survive. That is true. But they've been under Aelin oppression. They haven't faced the Vogue. They haven't faced wyverns or wordhounds or magic. They have no idea what's coming.
Do you know what I hate the most?
Yeah.
He talks about her past like she was just swanning around Rifthold for 10 years, enjoying all of the riches and the culture, going to musicals, and it's like, did you just skim over the fact that she was a slave in Indovia for a year? Or that she lost, like, her first love?
She lost her family and was taken by an assassin lord and forced to become assassin at the age of 8. But yeah, it honestly fucks me off. But Aelin says to Ren that he has a place in her court no matter what, for what he did for Nehemia. And, like, Ren's a bit hesitant, but Darrow just starts cussing out, like, wow, that's a life wasted. A princess who actually cared for her kingdom. And we're about to jump off, but Rowan's like, hold my drink, bitch. I'm unclipping my earrings. No, I'm throwing down. Rowan cuts him off and is like, one more fucking word and you're dead. It's Daemon, House of the Dragon. The guy standing up there about to call Rhaenyra a whore, and Daemon's like, say it. Say it.
Say it, you little cunt.
Absolutely. So they've basically rolled in there to that meeting, already decided Aelin's fate. Nothing she could have said or done would have changed their minds. They came with this pre-signed little letter and they were like, absolutely not. And so as they're getting up to leave, a messenger appears and is like, witches are spotted heading to Rifthold. It's happening.
Big, giant yikes. So Aelin is sending Rowan to Rifthold to save Dorian. The initial plan was to go northward once he has Dorian, but Aelin is like, no, we go south to Skulls Bay. And then she's basically, her thought process is if they can turn Rolf onto their side, then we have like a small fleet to help us in, our battles. And then Rowan and Aelin are like saying goodbye, and we get this really beautiful quote, which is, "When you find me again, we will have that night. I don't care where or who is around. You are my fire heart."
Pain is real.
So we just like round that off with this other quote too. We get this. "And through the rain and fire and ice, through the dark and lightning and thunder, a word flickered into her head, an answer and a challenge and a truth. She immediately denied, ignored, not for herself, but for him. For him."
Ellie's face right now is phenomenal. I want to hold her in a box and keep it forever.
Hold it in a box. Just hold her face.
I'm imagining, I wish, Ellie, we need to basically get you for, especially Kingdom of Ash. I want Snapchat video updates.
Like
it's going to become content.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because I want you reading that and being like, oh.
I just, as she was saying it, as I was reading it, I was like, I know where this is going. I've known all along. I've known.
been
Just
here.
say it. Just say it. So now we're back with the tiny whore. Evangeline, remember her? She's not, in fact, a tiny whore, because remember, Lysandra saved her from Ever.
She's free.
She's just a free whore.
She's just a free whore. It's
Just
fine.
tiny. You could have picked the first part. You're like, child, not tiny, whore.
Whore.
Fuck the children. We've already been here.
Right, well, yeah. Evangeline doesn't want to leave them, but they're sending her with Ren's grandfather along with Fleetfoot, and Aelin ends up making a blood promise that if any harm comes to her, she will burn them all to ash.
I love it when she gets like that. I love it when she threatens to burn people to ash.
Yeah,
It makes
I love
me...
it when she threatens violence on people.
Oh my god, so gay. I'm so gay.
Especially when it's to protect the people she loves. That's especially good.
Yeah. It's like a reverse who did this to you. It's like, I will do this to you.
Yeah. Oh, I will do this to you. I like that.
I will fucking burn you to ash.
You know reverse.
Just you wait. And Aelin also makes a promise to Darrow that she will come for their aid should they need it, because she is the bigger fucking person. Darrow asks her where she's going, and we have this quote: "To call in old debts and promises, to raise an army of assassins and thieves and exiles and commoners, to finish what was started long, long ago."
Oh my fucking god, it's brilliant.
And she does just fucking that. Anyway, they hop on their way to Skulls Bay. Oh, that rhymes. And Aelin sees a white stag watching her leave. It's actually just Lysandra. She's just popped on out of the little travelling gang. And she's posed as a white stag to be like, look at all you guys.
And then Aelin takes it too seriously, and she's like, "Oh no, now I have to pretend like I'm just like wandering." She's like, "Oh
yeah,
yes,
how do I look?
White stag.
I'll eat some leaves over here."
Yeah, she's like, "How do I look mystic?"
We're then in Dorian's point of view, and Daddy Dorian is recovering from his trauma, and he's alone in his castle, and he's worried about all of his friends. Like, he's worried about stale lettuce. Will it deflate in the water? Who knows? On its voyage to the southern continent, we don't know.
Will it deflate? It's lettuce.
Just roll with it.
He's actually just in like a flotation device, just hoping that he'll be blown. Rowan is
like
blowing.
a tube.
It's like Ellie doing the starfish. Good
It
luck
is. Oh
on
my
your
God,
journey, Ellie.
Rowan?
Rowan.
In actual fact, that lettuce can be revived in cold water. Just to throw
Oh
that
my
one out
god!
there.
I see. It was all tied together. Cool.
Wow.
It worked. Okay, we learned that the band around his neck from his kinky collar is actually now just like a tan line. Like, he's got like just a pale stripe.
Trauma.
It's like a thong line. And when I say thong, I mean haviana. Foot thong.
Foot thong, not G-string.
Not the American thong.
Not vaginal thong.
Yeah. Look,
That one is.
A vaginal thong, like it's just wearing a havana. Just the flaps. Just
with the flaps.
It's somehow slipped on in there. The vagina is wearing
You
a
can
pair of
flip it
flip-flops.
around.
Oh my god. It's not
It's
going
doing
there.
skateboard tricks.
Oh my god, now it's mobile.
You put your legs up and it is the skateboard. She's the third leg.
Why is it going to escape up in the sticks? Legs in the air. It's a thong in a vagina. The flaps are tucked in, and the thong is on a miniature skateboard, and she's just riding. Arms up, legs up.
The labia are doing all the hard work here.
It's good stretching, guys.
I'm not engaging in this process. All right.
Amazing. I just love that our brains could picture it. We were just like, yes, it works.
Yes. The flaps.
Dorian takes off his haviana thong and
off his vagina.
Look, sometimes I think he does have a vagina. He's a bit fucking weak, but that's all right.
He's not anymore. He's quite strong now.
He's daddy
strong
now.
A little bit.
He's daddy now.
Oh, yeah.
But I still by the flap thong.
But yeah, he is also a walking vagina thong.
Okay. Daddy Dorian, he is thunder, and he's like, but wait, it is not the season. And turns out it is, in fact, not thunder. And then we're in Manon's point of view, and Isakant started the massacre of Rifthold without her. And Manon is, like, banging it for the castle. Dorian is obviously stressed because the witches are fucking up his city. The witches break down Aelin's glass wall, and then he's, like, fighting them off with his magic from this tower. It's a great cinematic moment. But Nekmin, one of them gets into the tower and, like, hits him with one of the poisonous spikes from their wyvern. His magic is, like, saving his life. Because remember, he's got raw magic, so he's versatile. And then Nekmin, that witch is about to fuck him up. And Manon's like, absolutely not. I'm the only one that gets to fuck with this man. And she just cuts off this witch's head. And he's like, get the fuck up, bitch. We're going shopping.
Yeah, she really went off with your head.
She literally
dance till you're dead.
Dance till you're dead. Go on, use those little yellow legs.
I like to see those yellow legs try.
So she sees his wound and she's like, whoa, that's weird. He should probably be dead. When he gets up, though, he, like, gazes down at her and we get this moment, hello, witchling. Some ancient predatory part of her awoke at that half smile. It sat up, cocking its ears towards him. Hello, princeling.
Ugh.
That turns me on.
Fucking hot.
Get me a part of this, whatever this is, right here. Get me in it.
They are also mates.
I'm so pale, I will be the tan line.
Do you reckon?
I'm just there on Dorian's neck.
What? What about Bridie being the tan line or about them being mates?
No, about them being mates. Agree with the tan line.
Don't do this to me again. But it was an inner voice that woke up when he spoke to her, and that inner voice is like,
it was just the power of the pussy.
Yeah,
it was her vagina, her inner vaginal
like,
voice.
Do you think that his mate was Sorcha? I don't know.
No, not the headless hoe. I believe not.
I forgot about the headless hoe.
They don't even fuck.
Humpty Dumpty.
Right, well, leave that behind. That seems traumatic.
Anyway, I just really, really like these two. Like, I just love this quote, especially the princeling and the witchling, and like the fact that was what they spoke when he was in the collar, and now he's out, and like that's how like he remembered her, he remembered her name, he remembered that, and now it's, I love it so much. I really want to die.
Manon tells Dorian to flee, and Dorian asks her to fight with him, but she basically doesn't get a chance to answer because Rowan bursts through the door. He takes one look at her and says, absolutely not, takes the air from her lungs, and Dorian is like, wait, no, that is my witchy bitch. And Rowan's like, oh, sorry, I didn't realise you guys were a thing, and lets her breathe again. And we get this weird moment where the quote is, her kind had no magical shields against attacks like that. Only when most desperate, most enraged, could a witch summon the core of magic in her, with devastating consequences. Even the most bloodthirsty and soulless of them only whispered of the act. The yielding.
I feel like this may become relevant at some point.
Probably
I'm
something
scared.
you should just put on the diary. Dorian tells Manon to come find him when she changes her mind, and he goes with Rowan while she's still gasping for air.
Not from Dorian's penis.
Yeah, no.
It's actually her gasping because she saw his flat thong, and he's like, and she was like, "Oh my fucking god, get me one of those, you bitch!
Get me one of those."
Where did you get that, you bitch?
It's on my Amazon wish list if you want to get
So my Amazon wish list, babe.
He's like Richard, the demon prince inhabiting me. He actually just left it as a
He's
gift.
like,
and I
you
just
know
left it.
Richard.
He's like, use code Dorian35 for $35 off.
If you want my
Hashtag
secret
king.
Patreon code, it is Daddy Dorian.
Oh my fucking
69.
God.
So Dorian and Rowan are skedaddling out of the city, and they basically escape through Aelin's secret tunnel, which is kind of cute. Rowan has this moment where he's thinking about Dorian's magic, and we get a gift of the king's magic then, the enhanced hearing, raw magic that could grant him any gifts: ice, flame, healing, heightened senses and strength, perhaps shape-shifting if he tried. Again,
Ooh.
I will say, interesting.
It is very interesting,
Okay.
is it not?
So at this point, I don't know what type of form he'd take if he shapeshifted. I am picturing a little sparrow.
the flat thong.
Is that Haviana?
It's a haviana.
No, if Rowan was a hawk, Dorian's a sparrow.
Yeah, look, it's that energy. I get that. Speaking of Rowan in his hawk form, so as they're skedaddling out, Dorian's in a tinny, and Rowan is flying above him in his hawk form, just blowing on him. And is like pushing them out of the city. And Rowan is thinking about what Darrow said about how he doesn't have anything to offer Aelin. He's sad, but he also knows it's more than just love. And this quote we get is, even if he knew it was not mere lust or even just love, this thing between them, the force of it could devour the world. And if they picked them, it might very well cause the end of it. It was why he had not uttered the words he'd meant to tell her for some time, even when every instinct was roaring for him to do it as they parted. As we are falling apart over that quote, Rifthold actually falls apart and is conquered by the witches. So,
Oops. So now we're back with Lorcan, and he is still following a lead. But then there's roaring in the distance, and he shows himself. He's like, hello, I've been following you.
hello, you.
Yikes.
Oh, God. And he's like, come on with me then if you want to live. And she's like, random strange man that's been following me in the forest for 3 days. Terrifying beasts. I'm in a bit of a pickle.
I was always told not to go with random strange men, but this seems like the one time I might need to do just that.
Exactly right. It helps that he's quite attractive. So
Yeah, it
she's
doesn't
like, all right.
And he's fucking tall.
Yeah.
He's like nearly 7 foot.
He is
That's-
a big, giant man.
He is one of the tallest Sarah J Maas characters in the entire universe.
I would absolutely climb that man like a tree.
Absolutely. Sign me up,
I
Bigfoot.
would too.
Let's go.
Bigfoot. Oh.
Well, you know he's got big feet. He's nearly 7 foot.
And you know what they say about big feet?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Okay, right. She's like, yes, I will go with you, strange tall man. They end up running, and these beasts are cutting through his shields of magic. So he's like, well, they must be fucking strong because I'm
No
a
one
big
can do
boy.
that.
Yeah. So when the creatures find them, we get this description. Their skin was a mottled blue, so dark, almost black. Each long, lightly muscled limb had been ruthlessly crafted and honed. For the long claws at the end of their hands, 5 fingered hands, now curled as if in anticipation of a strike. Ew.
Wow.
That's the
That's the
rule.
noise they make
Wow.
as they're striking. Wow.
They've actually all got JJ's t-shirts on, and they're like, wow.
And they've all got really heavy side fringes.
Absolutely.
God.
So the Ilken are just
Teen
preteen
girls.
emos.
Yay!
Oh.
That was all of us. I feel like we were all there.
Seeing
Yeah.
preteen emos with their like low rise skinny black jeans and super
Absolutely.
belts.
Oh my God, the
Beautiful.
super belts. Oh.
Anyway.
Bless their little cotton socks. And they just go "Rawr" when they're trying to attack. Okay, so the pack of scene girls are chasing them, and we're starting to get a few descriptions of Lorcan's powers, which is Lorcan's magic was that of death and thought and destruction. There was no name for it. Not even his queen had known what it was. Where I had come from, a gift from the dark god Hellas. Ooh, he kind of sounds like Reese.
He's gorgeous. I love him. We learned that these creatures are called the Ilken, okay, the scene girls, and they are after a girl. And Lorcan's like, well, okay, what do you want with her? Because I don't really care. Like, I'm not with her. And the Ilken say that she's a thief and a murderer. And he considers, like, handing her over. But then we get this quote. Lorcan could have sworn an invisible hand touched his shoulder. He knew that touch, had trusted it his entire life. It had kept him alive this long, a touch on his back to go forward, to fight and kill and breathe in death. A touch on his shoulder to instead run, to know that only doom waited ahead and life lay behind. And so he's like, well, I'm about to fuck shit up in honor of this girl that I don't even know. But before he can kill them, because he's like, absolutely, I don't trust these scene girls, a scream erupts behind him.
So, it's Elide screaming. She's faced with one of the scene girls, and she's just like the ringleader of them, you know, she is the bitch out of the group of bitches.
Yeah.
She is the Regina George of the Ilken, except scene girl.
Yes.
And she ends up managing to trick it by using her knowledge from hanging with our girl, Manon, in stating that she is on a mission for the king. And by using the stone that Kaltane gave her to, like, endue all of this, like,
to give off weird
magic.
vibes.
And it works. So when Lorcan finds her again, he's covered in Ilken scene girl blood, and he's like, how? And she briefly explains to him, and he hoists her over his shoulder, and he's like, all right, we're running now. And she's like, cool.
Look, fair enough too. Like, I wouldn't want to run, especially with a fucked leg, so I'm like, bitch.
Nah.
But she's like,
I demand.
She's like, no, I'm independent. I don't like it. And I'm like, bitch, fucking carry me. Right now, I don't even have a fucked leg, but I'm like, you better be fucking carrying me. I'm not walking anywhere.
Yeah, I've reached my standing quota for the day, so I must be carried.
I've already reached my steps.
Yeah.
10.
Unfortunately.
Not 10,000, just 10.
Just the bare fucking minimum of existence. I now must be carried. So when they make it somewhere safe, he sees her leg and the shackle, and she tells him that her name is Marion.
Liar.
I was like, oh, this is kind of traumatic, and George is like, you fucking lying piece of shit.
A fucking liar. But I mean, like, I get it, whatever. But like, still, I guess it's like your dead mum, but whatever.
Fine, we'll forgive you.
We'll forgive you. God. But like, just so you know, you lied to Lorcan, and I would never lie to Lorcan. So, continue.
Okay, so she explains the entire situation from Morath, minus the whole, like, Kaltane thing, and explains she's going to find Selena Sardothian and Aelin Galathinius. And, you know, Lorcan isn't too impressed by this because he keeps referring to Aelin as the, what was it?
Fire-breathing bitch queen.
Fire-breathing bitch queen. You better have that on my fucking coffin.
But also, I love that Lorcan's like, I'm definitely not going to tell you that they're the same person.
Yeah.
No, he's like, I'm just going to keep that chestnut to myself. Carry on. So they end up agreeing to travel together so he can find out more information from Elide about Morath, and he can, in turn, keep her safe, which she's like, thank fucking God, because my foot is killing me.
Yeah, she's like, finally, I get to have someone to carry me around like the absolute fucking queen I am. Which, fair.
Starfish is back, and it's like, okay.
All right, ready when you are. Take me.
Not in that way, but also in that way.
Please. That way. So the next chapter, Manon is approached by Ilken, being like, you killed my motherfucking sentinel. And not sentinel like the dog's flea tablets. No. Sentinel as in the worker, like the peasant, the other people that
God.
Sorry. Anyway, Manon makes up a lie that the sentinel tried to take her prey, as she puts it. and made Dorian escape because obviously Dorian was her apparent prey. We're hoping that it was a prey, as in she was going to eat that fucking dick.
She's like, hang on, let me suck on that little haviana.
Big yikes. But yeah, so she's like, no, the Sentinel made him escape, and so like, yeah, I dealt with her. And then, like, Rowan came in and, like, killed some more of her Sentinels. And Ilken is like, yeah, right, you're a fucking witch killer. And dobs on Manon to her grandmother. And there's, like, this big trial that's happening. And Astrid and the 13 are basically told by Manon to run if shit goes sideways. Because she's like, y'all need to get the fuck out of here. And then during the trial that they're having, like, all the covens are there, like the matrons are there, and Petra is there, and she's still really sad, and she hasn't been the same because of Keely's death, and that makes me really sad. And she says that Manon saved her life, and therefore trusts that she wouldn't kill another witch without reason. Basically, in the end, the matrons end up voting blood for blood, which means that because Manon killed Ilken second, they get to kill her second, aka Astrid must die.
No! Oh, no.
Big yikes.
All right, next chapter. We're back with the Scooby Gang, aka, well, half of the Scooby Gang. Aelin, Aelin, and Lysandra are walking through the plains of Terrason's, like, lowlands, and they decide to, like, hit up this town called Ilium? Ilium? I don't know. It sounds a lot like aluminum.
Foil.
Aluminum.
They've all got aluminum foil hats on.
It's like, you couldn't give me a crown, so I've made my own out of some foil that was in the cupboard.
Tin foil. She just wrapped it around her head multiple times. It looks like Ellie wearing that hat. That episode.
Yeah.
Looks like.
Beautiful. They come across this temple that's been taken over by soldiers, and they decide to attack it at nightfall and win it back for her people. But really, it was because the little folk had left her like a little message. They'd left her the wyverns being like, heads up, Rooftop's about to be conquered, but she didn't catch that memo. But they sent her another one, and she's trying to pick up what they're putting down.
Yeah. The little people, they do not have little brains. They are quite large brains.
They're great communicators. They're doing a lot better than half the other people in this book. But anyways, Aelin and the gang are speaking about this particular flower that blossomed when Brannon stepped foot on the continent. And it's so rare and so blessed that the last one they found was pressed into glass so it could live forever during Orlon's reign. And it's supposed to symbolize like Terrason or a kingdom at peace. So that seems super nice. We'll just bake that.
Super nice. But also, good fucking luck.
Flowers?
And I've literally got the worst hay fever, so this all just sounds terrible.
Yeah, it's not the vibes.
Okay, so we're back with Dorian and Rowan, and we're now on a tiny little boat on their way to Skulls Bay.
A tinny!
And Dorian is thinking why Manon saved him. Rowan tells him he has to replenish his strength, and then they chat a bit about magic. And for some reason, I just pictured this as like a little romantic gondola, and Rowan's just sailing them off into the sunset. And if this were a musical, it would be where Dorian starts to sing the Bobby Ray Simmons classic hit, I've Got the Magic in Me.
Oh my God, Ellie.
I love you're saying that, and I'm like now imagining it as like Tangled, the lantern scene.
Lady and the Tramp.
It's just, but the acoustic version, he starts off slow and steady. Rowan's just paddling them out to sea, his breath whooshing them forward, and Dorian's like, I've got the magic in me.
I actually really like to imagine that because...
magic in me.
I've got the magic, baby.
Every time I touch my
Rowan's in the back.
to go. Yeah, it turns to go.
But what I really imagine, what I was going to say, the joke I was actually trying to get to is Rowan's instead of, like, we're imagining it's like a slow paddle with Rowan's like casual breath, but it's actually him like a jetpack just.
That's when the tempo picks up. When we get a bit more beat, that's when they start kicking off.
It's just like.
He's actually too traumatized to sing as he starts reminiscing about the original Headless Hoe Sorsha.
Humpty Dumpty.
Sorsha.
Dorian tells Rowan about how he lost Sorsha, the headless hoe, and Rowan tells Dorian how he lost his mate. Mate. And then we get this. His magic had felt the bond between Aelin and Rowan, the mating bond. The bond that went deeper than blood, because it's the mating bond, than their magic. And he assumed that it was just that they were mates. That's what we all assumed, Dorian. And hadn't announced it to anyone. But if you already had a mate and he lost her, but that must mean that she in fact was not his mate. She was just some skank he picked up at a flower market and impregnated. Not your mate, Rowan. Not your mate.
Fuck it, it was Maeve. Poor Rowan. He's been through
Poor
all
Lyria.
this.
She just
Fuck
might have
Lyria.
had a mate out. She might have had a mate out there.
She might have.
She
She could have. Could have, would have, should have, but she died riding that steel. So she lived a good life.
So the bromance continues, and Dorian is like, "Oh my god, bro, can you help me with my magic?" And Dorian,
Can you
is
help me
like,
with this song?
Can you bust out the moves? Help me with the harmony.
Troy Bolton just appears.
Get your head in the game. You gotta get your head in the game.
Rowan is like, "Oh, sorry, my bro. I'm not the best fit for you." And Dorian is like, "But my bro, you helped taught Aelin." And then Rowan comes out with, "Aelin is my heart. I taught her what I know, and it worked because our magic understood each other deep down, just as our souls did. You are different. Your magic..." I don't want to fuck you. I'm actually quite heterosexual.
That's basically the quote. I, in fact, want to bone Aelin. I do
Not
not
you.
want to bone you, so no magic playing.
Okay, bye.
Sorry.
This is
Your
actually a
magic is-
really beautiful quote, you
It
guys.
is.
Fuck you.
Your magic is something I've rarely encountered. You need someone who grasps it, or at least how to train you in it. But I can teach you control, and I can teach you about spiraling down into your power and taking care of yourself.
I can teach you how to rub one out
I was
when
going
needed.
to say someone who grasps it, if you know what I mean.
It was a beautiful quote before our perverted brains just went, fuck it up.
Fuck it up. Anyway, they are preparing to take back the temple. We're back with Aelin now, but technically we're not with Aelin, we're with Adian and Lysandra. So Adian and Lysandra are waiting for Aelin's signal, and they're like having a little bit of a chit chat. Lysandra has been reading a book called The Forgotten Creatures of the Deep, which, huge yes. That's terrifying. That's going to make me, and all of us actually, more traumatized to not go in the ocean. She tells Adian that she believes a big storm is coming. She says it was weird that Erewhon waited this long to attack. Like, he waited until Aelin was here, the Firebringer heir, and to attack. You know, it's real weird vibes. Weird vibes. And
It is weird vibes.
It is. And she wonders if the gods have deemed the casualties worth it and have played a part in this. They have some, like, little harmless flirting, you know. He says he would never cross that boundary with her, not after everything that she's been through, nor would he think about it after everything he's been through. And we get this little back and forth. Lysandra says, "Careful, Adian, I bite." And he says, "Good thing I know how to make a woman purr."
Adian!
I was
coming
like,
through.
Say less.
Making-
Honestly, the biggest wide shoes. I would do absolutely everyone in this book. Everyone.
Yeah, I would fuck everyone in this book. It's the briny go round, and they can all just take a turn.
Go round. Everyone get in line. Take your turn.
Get in line.
Grab a ticket, everyone will get a ride. But
There are a
honestly,
few beasts in this. I really hope the women aren't
no.
jumping on board
Don't
that.
back us with his socks. We've already discovered
No.
that
Unless
we're not
he's got
settling them in that
two
way.
dicks. If he's the dragon or the dragon's bride.
God damn it, Georgia.
I'm sorry.
No.
Adian's internal monologue is like really sad. He envies Rowan and Aelin and the love that Lysandra has for Evangeline. And like he's just about to be all whimsical, but then Aelin gives the signal. Lysandra shifts into a ghost leopard, and Adian jumps down and lands next to Aelin as the soldiers come out of this temple. most of them run when they see Aelin. Well, when they see them. And Aelin takes off her hood and has a flaming crown on her head.
I think you were going to say a flamingo. Don't make
Or
me laugh.
a flaming dildo. Just
Vibrating.
with the flamingo sitting on top.
Flaming crown on her head and blue flames on her fingers. She tells the soldiers that they have a choice, run or die. Most men run, but the commander and like 30 others don't. And then Aelin has a burp of death.
A burp?
Where she's like, burp? And then the guy turns grey and then just flutters away. Aelin has burnt him from the inside out just by blowing on him. Just
oh.
gone.
Gone. Get.
So they take back the temple in like 20 minutes, and Aelin's fire not only kills but also cleanses the temple. So after she sends it on its little cleaning spree, literal sham wow, that would just be really nice. Just on a side note, like I would really like to clean like that.
Oh.
Yep. Imagine just being like, okay, I'm just going to stand out front of my house and just blow on it.
Burp.
And
And
then
be done.
done.
So Aelin puts a wall of flame around the temple, and we also find out casually that apparently Maeve's warships are preparing to set sail or whatever the fuck. So that seems super chill and not like anything we should be worried about. And Aelin's obviously at this temple because the little folk have been leading her here to this temple. She finds her way to the center of the temple, where there's this giant fuck-off rock, like as big as a wave, and she steps onto it.
So she's now on the rock, and she's like, this is a lovely little spot to hang out.
Yeah.
She takes out the word key from her pocket, and then poof, great granddaddy appears.
Oh my god.
Brannon. And he's like, what's up? Hi.
What's up, grand baby?
At your service.
Hello, my fellow youth.
Oh, you made that sound so dirty.
Sorry.
So Aelin decides to ask him some questions. The first being if she can kill Maeve, and he says he doesn't know. Of course he doesn't. He then says she's not Valg, but she's super, super strong. So we're like, well, thank you for nothing. So well done. She then asks him if the power gets easier to wield, and he says yes and no. And again, thanks for that,
Thanks.
Brandon.
It's literally
Doing
like
us such a
talking
great
to fucking
service.
Elena all over again. Like,
Yeah,
fuck's sake.
it's like when Aelin went through all her training in Airfire, gets to Maeve, and Maeve is like, haha, nothing.
Yeah, I will tell you what you already know.
Nada.
So then finally, he's like, you must find the lock. Apparently it's in the stone marshes off the coast of Ilwe, which are like huge. So Aelin's like, where exactly is it? But he's already disappeared. And it's like, Brannon, you just wasted my fucking time.
Brannon, you fucking silly bitch.
He's a
Silly
silly
bitch.
Aelin thinks the same thing because she looks towards the sea and she sticks her tongue out. Aelin sees this and he's like, well, if Maeve wasn't already poised to attack, that will certainly set her off.
I love
That's
it.
a good joke, Gideon.
I love it.
This beautiful moment is broken up by, like, Lysandra, Aiden, and all that are just sitting and chilling and hanging out. And Aelin feels a Valg enter the situation, walk through the flame wall, all of that jazz.
The premises.
It's a Valg inheriting the body of the chief overseer of the Endovia slave mine. So that's cool. So we know that Erewhon knows all of Aelin's history, which seems super, super cool. The overseer is like, well, aren't you going to introduce me to your friend slave? Aelin tries to burn the overseer with her magic, but gets like pushed back by this darkness within. And then Nekmin, the demon, is screaming and is basically like sheds his skin and is torn apart from the inside, like unfolded. And there's just darkness and two golden eyes just staring back at her. Erewhon is like, I love dramatic entrances.
Grandmummy, it's me, Anastasia.
The phrasing, he unfolded.
Yes.
That's just
it.
Like,
Unusual.
Like, his body's just chilling, and then his chest just opens the fuck up.
It's
and
a full
just darkness.
Alien and Predator moment where it's like...
It really is. So Ira Wang, he's like, hey girl, what's cracking? Our girl is a little shook, but she's holding strong. He has apparently sent this guy here as a warning present to show her how easy her people will die and what he'll do with her once he captures her. She tries to use her fire, but it doesn't work. And then she tries to distract him from the fact that she is wearing the third word key around her neck. He launches his power and it slams darkness into her chest. And then he's like, peace out, A-Town.
Yeah.
And leaves.
Big
So
yikes.
she's
Huge
trying to
yikes.
put herself back together and she realizes one thing. We have a quote. A reminder that she might be the heir of fire, but Ira Wang was the king of the darkness.
Next chapter, Manon is in the Eyrie and she's sharpening Wind Cleaver. She hasn't slept. Astrid has been kept in the dungeons all night and she is to be executed this morning. Sorrel appears and is like, I wish it didn't have to be this way. And Manon is like, we don't wish, we don't hope, we adapt. But before she leaves, she sees Astrid's Wyvern, sees her waiting for her rider. Fuck, this hurts way too much. So when it's time, Manon sees Astrid sitting in front of all the covens. She's bleeding, she's beaten, and she's about to kick off at Is a Cunt for, like, beating Astrid. Manon's like, fuck this fucking little cunt. But then Astrid is like, well, she had to chain me up because she knew I'd kill her.
Love
Fuck
that
you,
energy.
bitch. Yeah. So just as the yellow legs basically are lining up to have like a strike at Astrid, because that's
Yeah.
basically what will happen, is like they'll just all...
It's not going to be like a quick death the way
No.
they do this. It's like everyone gets a shot.
Yeah. It's like a pinata.
Julius Caesar.
Oh my
all
god,
over
it's like
again.
a pinata.
It's a Julius Caesar pinata while in Rome. So Manon ends up invoking her execution rite because obviously Astrid is Manon's second. And before the other matrons can say anything, the blue blood matron says yes because she saved her daughter. So she'll grant that wish. The black beak matron, grandmummy, she, as per usual, is pissed the fuck off and is being a right fucking cunt. Who is surprised?
Not me. We get this quote, which really gets me. And it's, the sunlight gilded the balcony as Astrid whispered, so softly that only Manon could hear, bring my body back to the cabin. Something in Manon's chest broke so violently that she wondered if it was possible for no one to have heard it.
Oh,
Take my
fucking
body
God,
back to the cabin.
Oh my god.
But not that cabin in the woods.
Not
No,
the cabin,
one where
not
her
that
hunter-
cabin in the woods. As Manon is getting ready to deliver the final blow, she looks to the 13 and they raise 2 fingers to their brows, which is basically the sign of a witch queen. She realizes that they will die for her, lie for her, and they'll follow her no matter what. And Astrid looks at Manon and she's like, bring our people home, Manon. And we get this quote. At last, Manon found Astrid's gaze, tears now rolling down her second's face. Not for fear or pain, but in farewell, 100 years, and yet Manon wished she had more time.
Oh.
This is just the most traumatic. I was
So
reading
true.
this just like, oh my God. And then just as you think that Manon is about to do it, she gives one more order to her 13. And all she says is run. And then turns the sword on Grandmummy.
Oh my god, fuck it up, grandmummy. You'll fuck up, grandmummy. They fight.
Oh.
Her grandmother is like super fast and skilled, and we get this quote. Manon had never seen her grandmother fight, never trained with her, and some small part of Manon wondered if it was because her grandmother did not want others to know how skilled she was. The 13 run, and the matron is like, no one else get involved in this fight. We're doing this the old-fashioned way. Fisticuffs.
Fisticuffs!
Manon gets one good shot in, but then her grandmother gets a great shot in and basically almost makes Manon's innards outards.
No,
Just-
not the innards.
Just as Manon is almost at her end, her grandmother is like, hey, want to know a super special secret? And then she goes on like a full villain monologue to explain that Manon's mother loved a Crocan prince and they had Manon. Therefore, Manon is a Crocan queen, the last Crocan queen. She has been killing her own kin her entire life. The last Crocan she killed, the one whose cloak she's currently wearing, it was her sister.
Her fucking sister.
So that's
rough.
big yikes.
Huge yikes.
Manon hears Abraxos's roar from the Eyrie and doesn't give her grandmother a moment's pause before she just launches herself off the balcony. She falls and lands on Abraxos, and her two shadows were sent by Astrid back to retrieve her, so they're just chilling, and then they fly off into the sunset, but the yellow legs are on their tails in hot pursuit. The two shadows split off on Manon's orders, so there are only two yellow legs on Manon. Manon's fading fast and her belly is like literally hanging out, so that's not good. They manage to outmaneuver the yellow legs, and Manon tells Abraxos to head to Oakwald Forest, but she passes out before she can finish the command.
Big yikes.
Huge yikes. But that whole sequence, phenomenal. Like cinematic, glorious fight scene, big heart-wrenching like moment of truth. Just everything.
Loved
it was
every
so
moment.
good. And I honestly wasn't expecting the turn. Like, I seriously thought she was going to kill Astrid.
Yeah.
I was hoping she wouldn't.
Because you're on that journey with her of her realizing, this whole thing is that, she's realizing that she has been made into a monster. She was not born as a monster. And I honestly think that, like, the Astrid, like, the unclean was 100%. That was the switch for Manon to be like, all right, this is really,
especially when,
fucked
like,
up.
witch culture has been prizing witchlings for so long. Like, they're so elevated. And yet the matron is then not lifting a hand to stop what's happening in Morath to the witches and the witchlings. Like,
I don't know what her grandmother's problem is.
she's just evil. Like, she's straight up evil.
Her grandmother is just a true cunt.
Yeah.
She really
she's
is.
not is a cunt, she's a true cunt.
Okay, we're back with Elides now. And she and Lorcan are travelling. And they come across a village and they have to pretend to be a married couple, which my favourite ruse. Lorcan is having to act human, which he is a bit uncomfortable with because he's also 7 foot tall.
He's just a giant fuck off man.
Also very appealing. In saying that, Elides also just gets her tits out. And
Love it.
Lorcan, and like thus far, what we know about Elides, she was
Short.
a lord's daughter, brought up in slavery.
She is.
Broken ankle.
She's like not even 5 foot. Like,
She's a tiny human.
She's a tiny whore. A tiny whore.
A tiny
Ellie's she's got this noble background, and I'm like, short.
She's also short. She's small. One of the main characteristics, giant boobs.
Giant tits.
She would either have the figure of a young child, and then she turns around and the boobs stare at you at the face, and you're like, no, she's a woman.
She's a woman.
Exactly right. So the tits are out. Lorcan ends up wrapping his magic around her ankle as like a brace, which is beautiful.
He
so
just
she doesn't have
wraps his
to
magic
limp.
around her tits.
He's like just got 2 hands.
Squishy.
So they end up going into a tavern in the village and they start to overhear a troupe. It's not a dancing troupe. No. It is a carnival troupe talking about how they don't have money to pay the toll. And Elides says that they were in Baba Yellowleg's carnival. But since Baba died, they've been looking for a new one. She says that Lorcan was a sword thrower and that she was a fortune teller, even though she can't read minds. So basically, just to sum up who Elides is, more so than just big tits, she actually thinks she's a part of the behavioural assessment unit of the criminal minds team. She's just constantly analysing people.
Like, she's cunning. She's picking up what people are putting down. She can just change the way she appears to hide herself or blend in. She's just fucking talented.
Again, she would a great asset on the BAU team. I feel like she'd fit in really well.
She also has great assets.
She does have great assets. That she does. So initially the leader, her name is Molly, not the drug, the person. She's like, no. But then she approaches them and she's like, all right, well, if you shit, you're out. Lorcan is like, damn, this bitch is crazy, about Elides. And he recalls feeling her hands the calluses, to be precise, on her fingers. And he's like, you know what? I feel like it's because you were a slave. Those calluses.
So gay. So gay for a lead. That Manon and a lead sandwich.
That actually would have been, I probably would have preferred that over Manon and Dorian and Elaine and Morgan, because there's no, at this stage, there's no gay romance in this
Oh my
book.
God,
there does need to be some more representation.
We so should have gotten Lorcan and Dorian and a lead and Manon.
I just
Imagine
imagine
Dorian
just
just
swap
getting
it.
failed by this giant.
Kale is absolutely heartbroken.
Oh, he's in the
Fuck you,
corner.
Kale.
He's like, I thought
fucking Dorian. He points at
makes direct eye contact.
You're next, bitch.
See, that's the way it should have gone. It really should have.
So far, the only representation we've really had in terms of other sexualities is Aelin is bi, Darrow is gay.
And Lysandra.
Lysandra, the way I view her is that she might have done things with a lot of people, but it was because of her occupation, and I don't know that she has a set sexuality yet because she needs to refine herself.
Fair. Cook, Malachi, and
and Emery. That's
I
it
just
so far.
think I like Manon and Dorian together, but I would have preferred Manon and Elide.
Manon and Elide, so cunning, like so cunning.
oh my God, they would have like torn
so much
everything apart.
cunnilingus.
And I
So
just
much
feel
cunnilingus.
like not everyone needs to be coupled up. Like, it doesn't have to be everyone's.
Exactly.
And, like, at the moment, everyone's coupled up, and I'm kind of like,
Yeah, I get that. As much as I do love it, like I love, and so I want everyone to just have a big orgy together and be happy. But I also definitely get where you're coming from. Yeah.
They managed to get past the toll, and in the wagon, one of the other men, his name is Nick, but with a K, not with a CK, so we know he's different. He tells them about what happened in Rifthold, and then he thinks that maybe Aelin Galathinius could save the world.
Like, oh my God, Aelin could save the world.
She's got enough on her plate, guys. She's got enough.
Fuck. Anyway,
Have I given enough?
Oh, the stress, the trauma. Rowan and Dorian arrive in Skulls Bay, and Rowan is like, Dorian's entrance will be dignified and in unity, not like how Aelin left Skulls Bay last time.
She fucked up all their shit.
And they threw that pebble at the slave.
They pegged him.
That's right, I forgot. They pegged the slave.
I meant to say they pegged the stone at them, but actually no, they just had a strap on and they were like, strap in.
Come here.
Hold on tight to that tinny, bitch.
You've been through enough trauma, baby. Here's some more.
As Ellie said, whips and chains excitement.
Instead of Rowan like blowing to help him go, he's literally fucking him so that the wind. But before they can make this like dignified entrance, the captain already knows that they're there and he asks to see them. Also, just so you're all aware, Rowan's magic is also basically totally depleted after their travels. So Rowan
He's been doing overtime. He's not getting paid above the award rate when he really should.
No.
Rowan and Dorian chat to Rolf. And for those of you playing at home, Rolf is still super hot, so that's fine.
lovely.
Rolf tells them that Parrington has been named a liberator of Rifthold. Dorian has been announced as an enemy and traitor to the kingdom, along with all of his allies. We get like a whole lot of info in this scene. Rolf still has the map on his hands, like, and it's working now that magic's back, but there's just this big blacked out section where there's something in the waters, and he's basically saying that it's sea wyverns. So he just wants to do like what is best pirate vibes and stay out of it.
What is best pirate vibes?
I don't know, but he does mention that they have run the Volg out of town, and that kind of ends up being Dorian's way in to kind of get on good terms with Rolf. Neckbin, there's footsteps down the hall, and two Fey men step into the room. One says that he likes Rowan's hair longer, and Rowan replies by throwing a dagger at his head. Screaming, crying, throwing up, vomiting, shitting.
It is.
Squelching.
Oh.
I squelch for Fenris.
Oh, fuck. Every time I disassociate into Throne of Glass, I am his mate.
Yeah.
That'd be lovely. So it is in fact Gabriel and Fenris, if you haven't already gleaned that fact yet. Dorian is shook by Fenris's beauty because obviously Dorian has a thing for men, and that's beautiful.
That's fine. That's beautiful, Dorian.
And I really wish we explored that more.
I really wish we did as well.
Oh my god, maybe he could have been with Fenris.
He could have been. He could have fucking been.
So Fenris is so sarcastic and I'm obsessed with him. He's like, darling, Rowan, come on. Apparently they came to warn Rolf about the fact that Maeve has sent her warships heading for Ilwe, which is not a good time.
Stressful. That is nice to give Rolf a heads up, though, because imagine you're just pirating and then you're like, fuck, that is a Fey Armada.
Yeah, they're just pirating out on the seas looking for treasure. And they're like, well, that's a big boat. They all sit down and chit-chat about, and Rolf is like, I know your queen's going to come, guys. And Rowan's like, nope, don't know what you're talking about. Nothing to see here. And Rolf's like, it's too late. And the jig is up.
I love this because, like, that whole scene is Rolf's like, I know everything. And it's like, you know nothing, Rolf.
Absolutely nothing.
Rowan and Dorian are getting to their rooms in a nearby inn. Gabriel and Fenris and Dorian are all, like, chatting in there, and we get this moment. So Rowan says to Fenris, how no one has ever cut out your tongue just to shut you up has always been a mystery to me as well. And Fenris goes, I've been told it's my best feature. At least the women think so. Oh, thank you very much. I will take that and run with it and be on my deathbed with it. Thank you. So we learn a little bit more about Fenris here as well, and how his twin was always basically in his shadow. Maeve wanted Fenris, but he said no. But his brother, because obviously he's always been in Fenris's shadow, thought this is my chance to... Yeah, Connell was like, my chance to get on up. So he said yes. Fenris got shipped off to war and returned to find his brother, Maeve's blood sworn, and that she was making him into her own personal fuckboy. He basically makes a bargain with Maeve to take his place. So now they're both blood sworn to Maeve, but his brother isn't having to do the dirty work, if you will.
But one of them always has to be in Doranel. One of them is always the anchor.
So that's awesome.
Oh, that seems super chill. We find out that Fenris and Gabriel and Vaughn, who was one of the people who we don't really know, have been sent to hunt down Lorcan and kill him. Yikes, big yikes. Gabriel doesn't seem thrilled about that, because we know Gabriel in the group loves everyone. He's kind of like the beautiful emotion holding the group together. Other than the compulsive blood oath that they can't say no to. We also learned throughout this that apparently Fenris has been like really wanting to work with Aelin. Like when she first went to Wendelin, he was trying to train Aelin, but Maeve chose Rowan over him.
Because she just likes to fuck with everyone.
Yeah.
She's like,
does this spark joy? Then no. So then we have like obviously this little like hint that Fenris loves like wild things. So I mean, I'm just imagining a special Firebringer sandwich where you've got Rowan, Aelin, Fenris, and
yes. Oh my god.
Gabriel and Fenris have been told to use any means necessary to find Lorcan and kill him. Gabriel's trying to like bargain with Rowan to get some more information, and Rowan says that the two of them fighting for his queen, that's a bargain, because Lorcan's path will eventually lead him back to Aelin one way or another, because remember, Lorcan thinks he has a real word key and he fucking doesn't.
He does not.
Lol, practical jokes.
Hello, you've been punked.
April Fools. Ashton Kutcher is like, ah!
It's not Erewhon. This whole time, it's just Ashton Kutcher. They're about to say no, and then Rowan is like, but wait, Gabriel, don't you want to meet your long-lost son?
Your baby.
Rowan,
The baby is here.
Rowan, you were just outing everyone's secrets, and you just need to calm down.
No, I love him.
He's just like, ha-ha, drama. Gabriel is obviously shook, and Rowan's like, I'm not giving you any other details. Just wait.
Yeah, fuck it up. Aiden and Aelin are on a boat in the next chapter, going to Skulls Bay.
We're on a boat, motherfucker.
But yes, but the main part of this conversation that they're having is that Aelin is just worried about, one, getting to get to Rowan and Dorian before Willy.
Willy Wang.
And why Willy Wang has waited so long to make a move. And we actually learned that Aiden's first battle was actually when he was 14 years old.
Let's see.
So
that's problematic.
Good.
Not great. Well, then we're back with Manon, and thank God she is alive.
Thank God you're here. Grandma's been raped.
I loved that show. That was so amazing. Oh,
Fucking hell.
that show was epic.
Phenomenal.
So good.
They need
She's
to
a
do it
naughty
again.
girl
They
with a bad habit.
Wait, are you talking about
I'm
Summer
talking
Heights
about-
High or Thank God You're Here?
Thank God you're here.
Oh,
Yeah,
thank God
that
You're Here
show.
was phenomenal.
I mean,
was
both
just-
were great.
Yeah, on another level.
Okay, so Manon, thank God she's here. She's alive, but barely. She wakes up and realizes that she is in the Oakwood Forest. And then she passes out again. And when she wakes up again, Abraxos with his socks are covering her.
It's actually just a sock.
He's just put
He's
his
placed
socks
one
on.
of his socks over the top of her. Rest now.
He's like, sleep.
She's like all the way over her head. She like pulls it down and he's like, no, rest.
Rest. No, he's not. He's covering her with his wing. And we're crying because he's beautiful. And she has to leave him to go get water for sustenance.
She needs to
And she
hydrate.
gets to the stream and then, yeah, shit's about to go down.
Like, she hears like this weird voice, and it's just like this super weird fucking like woman just chilling. Like, she's super gorgeous, but she looks a bit cooked. But then
It's Ellie.
Gorgeous. It looks a bit good.
Yeah, so the super beautiful but cooked woman that is not Ellie transforms, and the quote we get is, "The nostrils were enormous. The eyes were so large and lidless, she wondered if Erewhon himself had spread her eyelids apart and her mouth. The teeth were black stumps, the tongue thick and red for tasting the air, and spreading from that white body the method of Manon's transportation, wings."
Uh-oh.
Manon manages to like outmaneuver this creature, which by the way calls itself one of Erewhon's bloodhounds. And so even though her innards are becoming outed, she manages to get to Abraxos, who pulls its socks on, and then he lifts her in his claws and smashes the bloodhound with his tail. When they finally manage to rest, she tells Abraxos to find them somewhere safe.
Oh
my God.
Well, on that note, that brings us to an end of part 1. Tune in next week for part 2. Hopefully we'll be less unhinged.
Haha, no promises.
Doubtful. But in the meantime, find us on Instagram and TikTok at A Book and a Bev podcast. We have just reached 1,000 TikTok followers. Please like, review, rate, subscribe. Good night, everyone. We'll see you next week.
Bye.
Bye.